Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Tom Yamas, and we begin with that shakeup at the White House. Chief of Staff Reince Priebus is out, replaced by Homeland Security Chief John Kelly, a retired four-star Marine general. Priebus seen getting into an SUV as he left the White House, ending a rocky 6 months on the job. He joins an already long list of departures. Take a look. Press Secretary Sean Spicer last week. Before that, a communications director, an FBI director, a deputy chief of staff, and a national security advisor. So does President Trump finally have the staff he needs to tackle his big promises on health care, tax reform, and infrastructure? ABC's David Wright starts us off from the White House.
President Trump erupted at his own party today, taunting Republican senators as total quitters unless they vote again on health care reform. Earlier today, he insisted they look like fools and are just wasting time. Trump is still fuming over the Senate's failure to pass its version of an Obamacare repeal, a signature campaign promise killed off with a thumbs down from Senator John McCain.
Boy, oh boy. They've been working on that one for 7 years. Can you believe that? The swamp.
The president's tirade comes as his White House struggles to regroup after that shakeup. The new chief of staff, set to start Monday, the old one left last night in the rain.
Hitting a reset button is a good thing, and the president did that, and so I think he's happy.
Speaking to Fox News, Reince Priebus refused to comment on the infighting among White House staff, including those especially harsh words about him from the new White House communications director.
I'm not going to get into that subject. It's getting in the mud, and I think the palace intrigue stuff is annoying, and I think it's a distraction. It takes away from the president's agenda.
Today in the West Wing, a glimpse of outgoing Press Secretary Sean Spicer, still helping out during the transition. As the administration regroups, one big question is who will take over as Secretary of Homeland Security when General John Kelly becomes Chief of Staff. ABC News has learned some senior White House aides are urging the president to move Attorney General Jeff Sessions over to that role. But some Republicans are already pushing back on that. Today, Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted, DHS Secretary Jeff Sessions doesn't sound right. Doesn't feel right. Bad idea.
Lindsey Graham with some advice for the president there. David Wright joins us from the White House. And David, this shakeup comes at a time when the president is struggling to repeal and replace Obamacare, and tax reform and infrastructure plans are still on his horizon.
That's right. And heading into the August recess, 6 months into his term, he has exactly zero big legislative accomplishments to boast about. And in losing Priebus, he's lost one of the last strong links to the institutional GOP, somebody who can reach out and play peacemaker. And all of that does not bode well, Tom.
David Wright starting us off tonight. David, thank you. And tomorrow morning on This Week, a big show, a complete wrap-up of the White House shakeup, the collapse of health care reform, and all the week's top headlines. Be sure and tune in.